What is going on, everybody? It's me, Mark. I'm back again to do a little unboxing for you guys, but this one's going to be a little bit special because these are all the parts that I had to have in order to go stage 2. And so I just want to go ahead and let you guys know that there's two different parts of the stage 2 tune. You can go stage 2 single pulley, which requires you just upgrading the supercharger pulley, and then there's stage 2 dual pulleys, which is where I'm going, and that's upgrading both the supercharger crank pulley, but there's some additional hardware that's needed in order to go to stage 2 dual pulleys, and I'm about to show you all of that. So without further ado, let's just jump right into our first part. So if you wanted to go stage 2 single pulley and dual pulley, this is the vital piece. This is the supercharger pulley itself. This pulley is 57.6 millimeters, so it's a lot smaller compared to the stock one. But the one I ended up going with is a ECS Tuning. They had a pretty good deal on the bundle package of the crank pulley and the supercharger pulley. But other companies do make it, like Integrated Engineering, APR. I know 034 Motorsports might make it too, but I decided to just go with the ECS. So looking at the pulley, it's definitely durable, made out of probably billet aluminum and everything of that nature. But this one would definitely work. It is the press fit style, so it's going to require a little heating to stretch it out and then put it onto the supercharger and then let it shrink back down to size so it kind of just sit there on it. So I'll go ahead and put this right back in here. Moving on to the next one, we're going to go ahead and open up the what is this one? This is the crank pulley. So the crank pulley, the way I went with ECS again, like I said, it was a combo package. But the crank pulley, basically it sits, you still have to utilize the stock pulley for this. What it does is it's basically going to slide into the stock pulley, and they provide you with these bolts, much longer bolts for you to slide in there and bolt it to the crank. And so this one is probably the same material that's made out of the supercharger pulley, the billet aluminum. Now this one is, what did I write down here? It was 187.3 millimeters. So this one is a little bit bigger than the stock pulley. I know that you can get different sizes for it and everything of that nature, but I just decided to keep it simple and go with the 187. Now, Integrated Engineering does make this. APR again, 034 Motorsports make it. The thing about 034 Motorsports is that they make an overall billet pulley, which is all, if you want to replace the pulley altogether, you can get that. Only thing about it is it does not include the harmonic balancer. I noticed, like, if you look at my posts on Instagram back in December, my harmonic balancer blew out. I was about to switch to it, but I always heard about the engine vibration can mess up internals. Don't use it for a daily driver. An alternative to that was to get a fluid dampener, but those can be quite pricey. So I just decided to replace it with a stock pulley and then get the over sleeve for it. But they give you, this one's pretty nice because one of the bolt holes that you use to put it onto the pulley is offset. And so this one comes with a nice little marker right here to help tell you where that offset bolt is. And like I said, they come with these nice little, probably stainless steel hardware for you to use to mount the pulley. So when you go dual pulleys, you're gonna need to get a, a longer belt. So they provided us with this longer accessory belt. This is gonna go from our crank to our supercharger. It's much needed. You don't want to use the stock one. If you buy the combo kit from ECS, or I'm pretty sure even IE or APR, they should come with the belt, so it should just be an all bundled deal, you know. All right, so those are the main components of what you really need to go stage 2 dual pulley, or if you just want to go single pulley, you just use a supercharger. But moving on to what is recommended, and that is upgrading your heat exchanger. APR makes upgraded heat exchangers, but they're pretty pricey. Merc Racing, that's who I ended up going with. They have a pretty decent heat exchanger. They had it on S4s, A6s, and I don't know if a lot of people put it on their A7s yet, but we're gonna give it a shot. It does require a little bit of fabricating to it, so we're gonna go ahead and open this one. Pretty good shipping for all of these materials. I know Merc Racing was kind of back ordered a little bit, but as soon as they got it in, they sent it right to me as quick as possible, and thank you guys. But looking into the box, I noticed that these are probably like these are the mounting brackets to mount them onto, I believe, the crash bar. You mount it on there, and then you throw the heat exchanger on that. But overall, this is the heat exchanger. It comes pretty padded down. The packaging looks to be really well. It's all enclosed in the bag. So we're gonna go ahead and open it. All right, let me go ahead and place this right here. So overall, looking at it, I remember I read the not reviews, but basically the description of the heat exchanger. It's all hand TIG welded together, and it's made out of really dense aluminum. They said the pins are really thin, and it's really good to get airflow through. Like I said, the mounting brackets, they come in as well. Basically mounted just like that. And then let me see if I can. There's a bag in here as well. Here it is. Go ahead and lay this down. And then it came with all the necessary hardware for you to mount the brackets onto the heat exchanger. But there was one thing about it. So in the description, it did say it came with 3/4 inch hoses or tubes. I did not get the tubing for it. I'm not sure if they were just short on tubing or whatnot. So climbing over here, I went to my local parts store, and I was able to pick up tubing for it. And what this is 4 feet of 3/4 inch tubing. So your local parts store, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, they should be able to have this tubing for you, along with 3/4 inch hose couplings. And I went with 1/2 inch adapters, 1/2 inch to 1 1/4 inch adapters. I mean, not adapters, worm gear clamps, my bad. So you'll need 6 of these. Sorry, I had to count. But you need 6 of the worm gear clamps. You're gonna need 4 of the couplings. I'm waiting on 2 more. I gotta go back to the store and pick them up. But 2 more of these. And the heat exchanger and the mounting brackets and everything else is pretty much here. So, but since you are changing out the heat exchanger, you will have to drain your coolant. So while I was at the parts store, it's probably not the recommended style or type of coolant for my car, but I ended up picking up 2 jugs of coolant. And in order to change out the Supercharger pulley, since it is a press-on fit style, you would have to get a pulley remover, or a pulley puller, basically. And you can buy the one on ECS Tuning. I didn't want to buy one for a one-time use, so I just decided I'd rent something. So we're gonna see if this 3-prong pulley puller would be able to remove it or not. If not, then we're gonna have to try some alternative ways. But overall, these are all the parts that are required in order to go stage 2. You could upgrade your down pipes or test pipes, but the thing about that is I live in California and smog regulations require you to have a catalytic converter, and I don't want to go high flow. If I'm going to get rid of my cat, I'm going to get rid of it. But other than that, that's basically it, guys. I'm going to start throwing all this stuff onto the car, and hope you enjoy the video.